Hello, everyone. Welcome to No DQ's live recap of AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. Much appreciation and love to everybody out there. Let's get right into this show. The Tour of Canada continues. AEW Dynamite was in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We kicked off the show with Orange Cassidy because that's how you open an episode of AEW Dynamite. Orange Cassidy teamed up with Darby Allin against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland in AEW's version of the old WCW Battle Bowl concept where teams are drawn at random. Yet Keith Lee and Swerve just happen to be on the same team despite their past issues. Swerve had the Mogul affiliates out there with him, and before the match, Darby Allin had given a pep talk to Keith Lee. I guess Keith Lee, frustrated with his status in AEW, Darby told him to take his head out of his ass and do something instead of complaining. Anyways, Lee was a man on a mission. He looked right past Swerve, and in the ring, Darby slapped Lee. Lee tossed him like Darby was 10 pounds, literally just tossed him from one end of the ring to the other. Crowd was chanting, "Holy shit," right off the get-go. Orange Cassidy tagged in. He started mocking Keith Lee's double chop. Crowd once again chanted, "Holy shit," and Lee responded by chopping Orange Cassidy right down to the mat. You had Swerve Strickland tagging in, and for a while, things were looking pretty good with Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. They were actually working together, but then Orange Cassidy made a comeback, and then Swerve Strickland went for a 450, but Orange Cassidy moved, and Keith Lee got hit by a mistake, and then Swerve went for a kick, but once again hit his partner by a mistake. And then Darby Allin, with the Last Supper pin, got the win over Swerve. Darby and Orange Cassidy advance in this AEW tournament to determine who will be the number one contenders for the tag team titles. Solid opening match here to kick off the show. We had a video package for Nick Wayne, who was only 18 years old, and Darby Allin talked about helping Nick get a contract, thinks Nick is ready for the big time. We had Jungle Boy, I'm not sure if he's Jungle Boy anymore, but Jack Perry showing up, and he was going to demand to Tony Khan that he gets an FTW title match. But Hook showed up, attacked Perry. Perry jumped into his SUV, had the driver flee the scene, and I guess we'll have to wait another week to see if Jack Perry will face Hook for that FTW title. We had a vignette of MJF and Adam Cole working together in a gym because they're tag team partners in this Battle Bowl tournament. Adam Cole, still have Michael Cole on the brain when I think of Cole. Adam Cole it's very late also, been a long day, been a busy day. Adam Cole was trying to lift some weights, and so was MJF, and they made some jokes. It was pretty entertaining. I'm glad that they did something. Last week, I brought up how there should be some vignettes with these guys doing various activities, and we got to see them in the gym. We had The Acclaimed versus Bollywood Boys and The Blade. Now, we got no entrance for Bollywood Boys and The Blade. Tells you all you need to know. This was what I like to call a showcase match for The Acclaimed. And it went on way too long. Like, come on. Bollywood Boys have, as Vince McMahon would say, no chance in hell of beating The Acclaimed at this point. Caster, of course, mic drop, picked up the win. And afterwards, Harley, whatever her name is, the QTV woman, she interrupted, and I guess she's going to show a video that will prove she is the most talented musician on the AEW roster. I do not care about this. I have little to no interest, so whatever. The only noteworthy thing here was that Billy Gunn said he had 2 words for her: suck it. He actually said that on AEW television, and I'm wondering, can they legally say that? Doesn't WWE have a trademark on suck it? Interesting. We had footage of Eddie Kingston winning the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong title. And then we had a Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston video package. Now, because Eddie Kingston is doing the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 tournament, whatever it's called, he is not going to be in Blood and Guts. And also, Brian Danielson, again, it's late, he is not going to be in Blood and Guts. We have 4 on one side, 4 on another side, and we are going to have mystery people fill those final spots. Shout out to good old JM, Jeff Meacham. The super chat worked for him this week. He wanted a quick plug for Friday. Double watch along of SmackDown at Madison Square Garden and Rampage 100 starting at 8 p.m. Eastern across the JMN multiverse of media. Hashtag super chats for JM2. Thank you for that, Jeff. And it's going to be a busy night. Rampage 100. Hard to believe there's already been 100 episodes of Rampage, and I've only cared about maybe 5 of them. So make that what you will. We had Chris Jericho cutting a promo, and he talked about how he's had a lot of big losses. He said Alberta is the perfect place to be reinvigorated. But then Don Callis showed up, getting some heavy boos, rivaling Dominic Mysterio as far as the boos go. Callis brought up how he invited Chris Jericho to have a match at the Tokyo Dome against Kenny Omega. And Jericho responded by saying he helped Callis get back into the wrestling business. Basically, blame Jericho for Callis being around. Callis had a proposition for Jericho. He's building a new family, and he wants Jericho to join. Jericho responded by saying that he doesn't join factions. He creates them. And he had a one-word answer: maybe. They were teasing the idea he would say no, but he said maybe. Now, what is going on with Chris Jericho? Is he turning babyface? Is he going heel and joining up with Don Callis? I guess that's the big hook right now. Where is Jericho's direction in the future? Interesting segment for sure, just to see where things go with Jericho. We had a recap of the Owen Hart matches from Collision. By the way, that show way down in television viewership. I figured the numbers would drop, but they've dropped so much. It's a little scary because they haven't gone head to head with the WWE show yet. And you have sports coming up, sports competition on Saturday night. It could be really rough for Collision. Under 500,000 viewers this past Saturday. And that demo, that was rough. NXT's doing better numbers than Collision at this point. And that's the developmental show. Anyways, we had footage shown from those Owen Hart matches, and Roderick Strong was interviewed. They were trying to get a medical update on him, and Adam Cole showed up and expressed concern for Strong. Then we had a tag team match, MJF and Adam Cole, baby, teaming up against Butcher and Matt Menard. Another match that went on way too long because there's no chance in hell that Matt Menard is beating the AEW World Champion in a tag match, in a 6-man, in any match on planet Earth, in any type of situation. There's no way Matt Menard is beating MJF. So it was very predictable, and it should have been 2 minutes. MJF and Cole beat these scrubs, and we move on. I mean, come on. This is just wasting my time when I have to watch MJF selling for Butcher and Matt Menard. Come on now. Get it together, guys. It's late. I'm cranky. So they won, of course, MJF and Adam Cole. And after the match, MJF cut a post-match promo, and he talked about wanting to have another bro session with Adam Cole. They're basically doing like the Mankind and Rock and Sock connection dynamic here. I mean, it's a B version of it, but that's what they're trying to replicate. And you know what? People like to replicate The Rock. Look at LA Knight. He's doing a lot of similar promo lines as The Rock. So if you're going to copy somebody, why not copy the great one? We had MJF saying that he wants to wish Adam Cole a happy birthday. We had streamers and production assistants brought out a cake, and you know where this is going. Whenever there's a cake, it's 99.9% likely that somebody is going to be smashed in the face with that cake. You just cannot have a wrestling show with a cake unscathed. Now, there were also hats. MJF put a hat on Adam Cole. Adam Cole was very reluctant about this. And MJF started singing the happy birthday song. Very good singer, all things considered. You would not expect that kind of voice from somebody who's not a professional. But MJF is a professional in many ways, and he's multi-talented. He sang the song. I also thought Happy Birthday was copyrighted and people could not sing it on television. Well, they did sing it, and then MJF wanted Adam Cole to make a wish. Adam Cole blew out the candle, and MJF was going for the face being shoved in the cake, but Cole knew better, reversed it, and MJF went cake first into the, or face first into the cake. He did not go cake first. He went face first. And Adam Cole got on the mic and said everything was very nice. He appreciated it. He thanked MJF. And yeah, it is very much like the Rock and Sock connection. And I am enjoying it. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And we'll see where it goes next week. But they got to do more stuff like going to restaurants and maybe going shopping. And they could do all sorts of things. And I'm curious to see what they do on next week's show. And at least MJF got the birthday date correct. Good job, MJF. Backstage, Chris Jericho talked about how Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara need to start branching out. They're in the Battle Bowl tournament. I'm not sure what the actual official term is. Battle Bowl, whatever. The random teams tournament. And they just happen to be on the same team, but I suppose that can happen in a random drawing. Jericho said that they need to show them they can win the titles on their own. And yes, MJF has done this storyline before where he acts like he's all buddy-buddy with his rival. Definitely has been done before in AEW. At 9:20, 9:25, get ready. It's the women's portion of the show. Britt Baker cut a pre-match promo. Ruby Soho of the Outcasts versus Britt Baker in an Owen Hart tournament match. And it's pretty much every Outcasts match at this point. You have the other two on the outside. This time it was Toni Storm, the women's champion, and Saraya. You know what this means. They interfere. They distract Britt. Ruby takes advantage. Britt is a stupid babyface. She allows herself to get distracted instead of just staying on her opponent. And after the commercial break, Britt started to make a comeback, and she put on the glove, but Ruby avoided the stomp, and then Toni Storm grabbed Britt's foot while Saraya was distracting the referee. Why is the referee not banning them from ringside? Like, they always ban people from ringside, but they're not doing anything here when it's clear. And does the referee, nobody tells the referee after the show, hey, did you see those two interfering? Like, make sure they don't do it next week. Like, where's the logic here? Like, if this happened every once in a while, it would be a little bit more believable, but it happens every week, and I'm supposed to believe that the referees do not know what's going on, that the Outcasts interfere every week. Tony Khan allows it to happen. Like, where's the logic here? I mean, it happens every single week. And of course, you could say the same thing for the Bloodline. There's always conveniently a ref bump in every Bloodline match. You would think that Triple H would have an assembly line of referees ready to go because he knows the odds of a ref bump in a Bloodline match are highly likely in all likelihood. So sorry, I got a little bit off there. I had to be fair. I have to be balanced. If I'm going to criticize AEW, got to criticize WWE too for the gaps in logic. But it's wrestling. You have to check your brain at the door. It is what it is. Dr. Scorpio sent in a $2 super chat, says, how did my fellow fans in Edmonton sound? They did great. Hot crowd, lots of energy. They did well. Shout out to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And Tony Schiavone said they were very rabid. Interesting choice of word to describe the crowd reaction. If you know, you know. Anyways, back to the match here. More interference, and Ruby hit the no future kick, but Britt kicked out. Ruby went for the lockjaw on Britt, but Britt countered. Of course, she would know how to counter her own move, and she applied the lockjaw, but Ruby was dragged to the ropes by Saraya and Tony. Once again, referee does nothing. Britt, stupid babyface, goes after Tony and Saraya, and then Ruby countered a victory roll. Tony and Saraya were giving leverage to Ruby from the outside, and Ruby got the 1, 2, 3. So, like I said, like I could have summed this match up with one sentence. It was every Outcast match you've ever seen over the past 6 months. And afterwards, Sky Blue confronted Ruby Soho on the stage. Sky Blue has to be thinking, what am I going to do when the Outcasts interfere? Am I going to allow myself to be distracted? Am I going to be a stupid babyface too? Am I going to try to actually get a friend to help me out? Do any of these people have friends that can counteract the outcasts? Where's Sheeta? Where are these other people that normally help out and run down there? Like, why don't they run down there when the actual match is still happening? Just wondering. Anyways, it's just the usual stuff here. And then we had the main event, Kenny Omega versus Wheeler Yuta of the BCC. Yuta, basically the one guy that would be doing the job to Omega on national television. You had Omega's shoulder all taped up, still selling the effects of the match with Will Ospreay. Yuta took a cheap shot at the beginning, and Omega started to fight back, but then Yuta took control with a top rope drop kick, did a dive to the outside, sent Omega into the barricade, and then Yuta removed the cover of the middle turnbuckle and used that, put some pressure on Omega into that exposed turnbuckle. And after the commercial break, it was back and forth between these two. Omega made his comeback, big superplex. He delivered some Snapdragon suplexes, V-trigger, but because of his shoulder, he struggled to finish off Yuta with the one-winged angel. And Yuta was very close to beating Omega, but then Omega regained control. And at this point, Don Callis showed up with security, and they provided a distraction. Takeshita showed up, attacked Omega, and then Yuta hit the big top rope splash, but Omega kicked out. And Omega got the win with the one-winged angel. I mean, no surprise here. Like I said, Yuta, the one member of the group that can do the job here. And afterwards, Claudio jumped in for an attack. It was 2-on-1, but the Elite made the save. They ran down there with some steel chairs and fought off the BCC as we get closer to Blood and Guts. And of course, the big question is, who will those mystery partners be? That was Dynamite, everybody. It was decent, but another show that really did not blow me away by any means. I thought it was average by AEW standards, and it was still pretty decent, but I really feel like they need some heavier angles on this show, and they need matches that are a little less predictable. I have to go with a C+ for this one. Not great, but it was fairly solid. The only thing I would really recommend going out of your way to watch is the MJF and Michael Cole segment. I said Michael Cole again. What is wrong with me? It is too late to be doing this. Oh, man. Adam Cole. Adam Cole. Adam Cole is his name. He is no relation to Michael Cole, yet I keep saying Michael Cole. Adam Cole. Show was a C+. It was decent. City by the Bay sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, if you can book anything for Wembley, what match? CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. I think it's probably going to be Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. Their blow off of their feud. It'll get 8 stars or something like that, 9 stars, 10 stars. But to me, the match, if you're asking me personally, if I could book anything, it would be CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. Or another option, CM Punk and FTR versus Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. But that singles match is what I want to see. I mean, if I had any say, I'd do the 6-man at All In and then do the singles match, Kenny Omega versus CM Punk in Chicago, and let Omega be the heel of all heels in Chicago. Man, that would be fun. thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Very much appreciated. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. I will be back on Friday night to recap SmackDown from Madison Square Garden. That is going to be a huge show. Roman Reigns is on trial. What is going to happen with that? We'll find out Friday night. I will give my thoughts on that. And then later this weekend, we will have the No DQ review and some other interesting content as well. Maybe some more Fight Forever videos. If you missed it, check out my review on the No DQ YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift No DQ. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.